I was afraid to go to sleep. Charles Avery. I don't know if his last name's the letter B. Josh Holcomb. I don't know if that's his real name. Reggie Angel Jenkins or Lori or Linda, a white female, tortured me. And then what I didn't know, I saw black faces everywhere. I got vehicular stalking. You know, the white car. I was totally out of it, and we came back. It didn't work. It's just insane. Okay, the FOIA is claiming that microwave guns can cause voices to be heard in random areas of the room have existed since the 1970s. Aaron Alexis, FSU Navy Yard shooting suspect, thought people followed him with a microwave machine. Aaron Alexis was a victim of these weapons, tortured night and day. He became a terrorist as well. They basically mind controlled and tortured these two black men to death, and mind controlled them to go out and kill people. If you are feeling like you are a threat to yourself or anyone, Ella F., and we know who she is, she's an activist in the TI community. On her website, she has a helpline that you can call to get counseling. Just call and get help. Okay, do not kill yourself and do not kill others. Protest, expose it, document it. We might get free and have hope. Okay, B. I'm reading my answers to document that this exists, and this will be in the global community's computer network forever, even after my death. Okay, so please provide or refer to relevant reports, case studies, or literature relating to the mental, emotional, physical, and or social consequences of physical torture, including on the medical state of health, on the medical, legal, or procedural capacity of victims to participate in legal proceedings, e.g. problems relating to disclosure, statute of limitations, personal memory, reliability of evidence, and on their prospect of redress and rehabilitation. God, I'm so hungry. I have to cut my mom's grass. And I was just thinking I would love some catfish. Oh my God. All right, my answer to that question: educating the American population. We have new reports on microwave sickness. Oh my God, microwave sickness. These perps are making me. They're trying to mind control me to stop reading. The other. You know, when you classify the other, how they don't get along with the other. I'm part of that group, the other. The other is obnoxious, by the way. And if you don't hear their brains, you're luckier than me. You can advocate for the other's life as there's protests across the world to protect the other. You don't want to hear the other's thoughts. All right, last question. Oh, okay. No. Part B of question 3. That my answer: educating the American population. We have news reports on microwave sickness by ES News, Don R. Justin, Laboratories of Experimental Neuropsychology, Veterans Administration Hospital, Kansas City, Missouri. This is a report. I am in an article in Wired magazine, and I was in this news article. Psychological torture. Here's the link. It's The news article is Wired.com. The story is called Mind Games, the Tortured Lives of Targeted Individuals. And this was at the TI Unity and Hope Conference held on October 21st and 22nd in 2017. Wow. That's 3 years ago. In Boston, Massachusetts. This report, Broad William, microwave weapons are prime suspect in the U.S. Embassy, New York Times, and Targeted Justice has a list of court cases. Okay, last question. Best practice and recommendations considering the particular characteristics of the context in which patterns of psychological torture are prevalent. Please identify any best practice or recommendation with a view to preventing and redressing such abuse. Please respect with a particular focus on it. A. Overcoming existing biases, hierarchies, and misconceptions conducive to the prevalence and or trivialization of psychological torture. Answer. Many in our community do not believe we are abused with psychological torture. Creating support groups, nonprofit groups to address issues of psychological torture and physical torture from technology that gives Ohio gang stalkers the ability to terrorize me with covert harassment and remote neural monitoring. Regulation against private intelligence agencies, groups, security companies, and institutions for accessing people and devices for surveillance harassment. Punitive and non-punitive action against people working in government, law enforcement, fire department, healthcare systems, legal systems, and communities to create a culture that does not promote the use of covert harassment. Punitive and non-punitive action against any immigrants who assist with covert torture for personal gain. Punitive and non-punitive action against any citizen who uses covert torture for personal gain. And we all know the examples that they're getting paid to do this to us. Now, we are not Black Lives Matter, and we cannot apply the civil rights law to us as TIs unless we are black. I would try to communicate to TIs that are black that you should use the civil rights laws to protect yourself against torture in America. We built this country, okay, against our will, and now we're being tortured, okay? So as black women and men and teenagers, I know there's teenagers that are TIs that are in the hood, okay? And these people are easily recruited, mainly because the lack of information, the courage to fight. There's a large group of black people in America that don't fight back, and so when you're a black targeted individual, it's important that you don't join the gang stalkers. You're not going to gain anything, and besides that, you could go to prison. I'm going to put you in prison. If you want to be a black American, then go to a Black Lives Matter protest. Otherwise, you're not a black American. If you're not interested in black people in America getting justice, and you're black, there's something seriously wrong with you. If you're a black person who's tortured with synthetic telepathy and direct energy weapons and stalking, a smear campaign, you don't join the white supremacists and become a gang stalker on behalf of a bunch of psychopaths in the military and these big companies. Fight back, okay? And you should go to a Black Lives protest. Because you're a TI. You're tortured and you're walking. They're talking about one man who got shot. There are millions of black people around the world being tortured to death by this crime. And there are tens of thousands of black people that are gang stalkers in Dayton, Ohio. If I could leave Ohio today and know that I would never have to hear these psychotic black people talk to my brain, I would leave right now. If there was a place to go, we would all go. B. Training guidance tools which should be developed to improve or complement existing knowledge. Perceptions, policies, and processes. Answer. Continuing education about psychological torture, covert torture in healthcare, law, government, institutions, and services provided to the community. Proper assessment of all community sectors, local sectors, and federal sectors for evidence of court harassment. Punitive measures should be taken for people who continue to participate in covert harassment. Lists and registries acknowledging groups and individuals, slow killing, targeted individuals with psychological torture. Now, I just want to go, I'm going to find out, I'm going to take a break from this document. I just got a new keyboard. It's nice. We bought during the COVID. There was like hardly anything on the shelves, so we got like a $4 keyboard, and it was horrible. There's nothing like having a really nice keyboard, really. Okay. All right. Now, Black Lives Matter in California got $4.35 million. Okay. This is an article I'm reading at Market Watch. The incident shines a light on the growing role that third-party companies play in collecting and distributing the roughly $30 billion that individual Americans give to charities each year. All right, so what's the point? George Floyd was murdered by a police by a police officer who's a white supremacist psychopath. Black Lives Matter capitalized off of it and got $4.35 million off of his life. Okay, now what's the point? What are they going to do with that money? I don't care. I don't care. I'm a TI. I don't care. Okay. Now TIs need that money. We actually need $1 billion actively to be. We need not only a COVID check. We need TI checks. Basically, if we catch you assholes, I'm advocating that you take care of us for the rest of our lives. 20 years I've lost millions of dollars in profits working, selling my art. I have lost so much, my health. The local medical community should be paid back the money that they had spent on me because you tortured me. That we're going into the hospitals because you torture us. And then you have the taxpayer pay for it. All right, so where is our targeted individual lives matter? That we have to have, we need money. Some of us are poor and hungry. We lost our jobs 20 years ago. Okay? And our families that take us on, you know, when you lose your job and then your family takes you in, or they give you money so you can pay your rent and stuff. You isolate us from our families, and we can't get money from our family to get help. I was at an art opening at my gallery that's now closed because of COVID. You owe me money. Where's my donation? Okay? Each TI should get $4.35 million. Black Lives Matter got $4.35 million. Okay? And what did George Floyd's mother get? Now, I believe that these women that run this company, because this is now a company. Black Lives Matter is a company. It's a 501c3, tax-exempt status. Many online platforms only require the entities raise money proof that they have a 501c3. A 501c is my friend Lisa, who's a TI date, she's like, we have to start an organization, a 501c3, a nonprofit, just so we can. I have an elderly mother I gotta take care of soon, and I got black people torturing me to death. Where's my $4.35 million? Okay. Training, guidance, tools which should be developed to improve or complement existing knowledge. Okay, educate. A punitive measure should be taken for people who continue to participate in covert harassment. If there's a law passed globally to stop this crime and you still want to look through my eyes, you're sick. Alright, 2 more answers. C. Approaches to improve dialogue between science and law. Developing and sharpening standards with respect to identification and documentation of physical torture, and in turn prevent prosecution and education. Answer. Neuroscience is a science that allows for psychological torture. CIDTP. Those involved must be held accountable for the torture of Americans. The United Nations must expose their involvement to the authorities, and the federal prison industrial complex will handle them. Research of all forms of covert harassment and contract stalking, monitoring correspondence for research and development, government officials, institutions, and communities with task force. A creation of company devices or institutional devices to reduce torture and surveillance of people. Discourage people from bringing in any electronic devices into workplaces. List in registries of criminal involved in organized stalking, using company vans, trucks, and cars coming into the area to discourage vehicular stalking and harassment. Corruption at the UN. Now, this is not part of my answer. There was, try to recruit people to protect the people. So say there's a war in a country. In Africa, they do this. Okay, so there's a war in Africa, there's torture in Africa. The UN goes in, they get the civilian population of another nation, and we all grew up, this is common. Okay, we all grew up as Americans loving the UN because we believed they would protect us. So, when you protect us, don't send people that are psychotic. They had a bunch of rapists going into Africa, and why don't you do a background check on these people before you hire them for the UN to go protect black people? That basically a bunch of people got raped by these UN soldiers. So I would hope that you would have enough love for yourself as an entity, the United Nations, that you would think critically on how to protect us in America. That now, okay, because your office is in New York City, where I grew up as a young adult. I spent my young adult years in New York City. I'm very familiar with the UN. I know exactly where it is. Okay, and I've been by the UN. I've never been inside the UN. No, that's my fault. I should have. Now, instead of focusing on the overseas, as your station is the United States, you have to help us and America. You have to protect us. That Black Lives Matter. Okay, this is bigger than white supremacist police. Okay, this is a military-grade weapon torturing people that live in the United States. There's millions of us. Okay, so you need to, in October, when you come together for Americans, for once, because we need your help, and we appreciate that you are going overseas to help those in need, but now we need you, and we demand that you help us, because your office is in America, so you are to help Americans first. Now, D, specificities. Now, I'm sorry that, and I just had a a moment with pronouncing my words. Regarding the, to be specific about regarding the rehabilitation and treatment of victims of psychological torture. We want the UN to come together to protect our lives, and an assessment to identify psychological torture, no-touch torture, to document and to confirm evidence of covert torture for the purpose of civil action, and campaigns against covert harassment. Targeted individuals are provided appropriate resources, reparations that do not involve mental institutionalization of people who will not harm themselves and others. Okay? Now, this is the end of this. This is my evidence. I answered the questions. Okay, so I hope that I hope everybody participated yesterday, July 31st. You can still do activism. You don't need a TI day to do activism. Do it every day. So I'm at the website, Facebook, and I'm looking at Task Force EU Coalition supporting the UN Cybertorture investigations. It's a beautiful website. You can still get the t-shirt. It's beautiful. An artist from Spain designed the t-shirt. And there's our hero, Magnus Olsson. He actually interacted with the United Nations on behalf of his life, his family's life, and the lives of people globally who are tortured. Magnus, we all thank you. You're very handsome. And I hope that we all get free from cyber torture. Thank you for listening. And TIs, be strong, be positive, be godlike. You are strong, you are healthy. You are strong and you are healthy. Tell each other that. Tell yourself that every night you go to sleep. I am strong, I am healthy, I'm going to fight back. Fall asleep glorifying yourself. Love yourself, TI. Fight for your life. Now's the time. You didn't have to fight for your life before, and now you have to. And it's a beautiful thing to fight for yourself. Be proud of yourself. Love your family. Go back to your families. Your families are probably mind-controlled. Go back to your mothers and your fathers. Talk to your family. Love your neighbors. Be good to yourself. Be good to the world.